Again, not chanting the last name, but it's a start. Good evening, everyone. So former Vice President Kamala Harris and her husband, Doug Emhoff, recently bought an $8 million mansion in Malibu. Yeah, she said she got it in a fire sale. But at over 4,000 square feet, Emhoff boasted that you could have a nanny live there and my wife would never see her. After record rains, Los Angeles is awash in potholes. In a related story, Tom Cruise has been reported missing. Because he's a little guy just like me. Costco is offering gift cards in return for your outdated electronics, with one man asking, do they take pacemakers? This is interesting. January 14th marked the medieval holiday called Feast of the Ass. Oh. Which today is only celebrated by a few Christians, and for an entirely different reason, this guy. So there's never any leftovers after that feast. Always shows up on an empty stomach. In Ireland, a crashed truck released 15,000 live crabs. Scientists say it was the biggest release of crabs since Hunter Biden left his... left his jeans in an Old Navy dressing room. Boy, did I mess that up. All right, who cares? You knew it was coming. According to a new poll, President Trump is the most popular politician in Venezuela. And if you have any doubts, check out their new flag. This week, Ilhan Omar says ICE hasn't been able to produce any evidence they are finding undocumented people who've committed crimes. She would have said more, but she and her brother were due at couples therapy. The Washington National Opera has ended its 55-year residency at the Kennedy Center after the Trump takeover. Now, if you want to go see a fat lady sing, you have to book a trip to Dublin. Unnecessary. Finally, scientists claim male sexual desire peaks at age 40, but women's sexual desire peaks weeknights at 10. Thank you. So in a federal hearing yesterday about abortion drugs, Senator Josh Hawley asked an actual doctor this question.
Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. Yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question is.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality.
Doctor or not, I'm keeping her away from my prostate. And this absurd exchange went on longer than a full-term pregnancy. I was on the edge of my seat, mostly from the hemorrhoids. But after 10 more minutes, I was hoping they'd abort this conversation. But hey, maybe she's just being careful. Maybe she thinks Hawley's about to pull out a Facebook post she wrote in high school where she claimed roosters could lay eggs. And she got sued by Foghorn Leghorn. But surely she'll come to her senses, right, and answer the question.
Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
There are many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
can men get pregnant?
So much for the come to her senses part. But when it comes to medicine, you can call Josh Hawley Dr. J, because he just dunked on this indoctrinated fool. If you thought Tim Waltz was dumb for saying men have periods, Dr. Verma says men might miss them. Who's worse? Don't make us choose. They're both morons. So this is today's modern professional class in one clip. Not doctor, not scientist, not expert, just a bot programmed by a campus diversity office. A simple yes or no question hits the system, and the system short circuits. You could practically hear her internal warning go off. Caution may violate campus protocols. She was this close to flailing her robot arms and shrieking, "Danger, Will Robinson, run!" Verma knows what the right answer is, but like the shopkeeper who sells Larry Kudlow lingerie, she's afraid to speak the truth. And it's extra wild because this hearing was about abortion drugs, stuff that interacts with actual bodies, organs, biology. You know, the unwoke parts of life that refuse to update their pronouns, even if your balls go by they. It doesn't matter what you call these drugs. They're like the Hallmark Channel. They only work on women. Luckily. What? Luckily, Hawley was there to provide a little reminder of what she testified to a moment ago.
Let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So, can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor.
I think yes/no questions are a political tool. No, you're the political tool. Knowing that if you offer the honest answer, you may never be allowed to wear a pink pussy hat again. Look, politicians use language like a smoke machine at a nightclub. It's not there to help you see, it's there to hide how unappealing they really are in the hopes you might do coke with them in the bathroom. But doctors, they're supposed to be the people who don't do that. When you need a life-saving operation, your doctor isn't supposed to ask you, so before I start your open heart operation, clarify your position on Gaza, please. Of course, you know that she'd lie to her doctor since most heart surgeons are Jewish. But this doc thinks you're the simpleton for believing men can't get knocked up. A doctor who's all too willing to sell out women on the most powerful, miraculous thing they can do. So, Doc, let me supply the second opinion you never asked for. No, men can't get pregnant, not even the slutty ones. And medicine isn't meant to advance ideology. The goal is to keep us all awake and breathing. But we're in the era where the simplest reality is treated like a trap, and the trap is reality itself. If you say the truth, you're transphobic, which is great if you're running HR at Harvard. It's less great if you're testifying about drug safety and biology in the Senate and, you know, people's lives are in the balance. So what can you do with a doctor who's all in on ideology but buckles when it comes to the truth? I wouldn't have her treat my menopause, that's for sure. Let's welcome tonight's guest! Looking directly at his wardrobe can cause seizures. Host of Making Money on Fox Business, Charles Payne. He thinks outside the box, including the one he lives in. Host of the Loftus Party Podcast, comedian Michael Loftus. He looks like the valet who tells you the dent was there before. Chef and restaurant owner Andrew Gruel. Finally, she interviewed Oasis and makes funny faces. Host of Kennedy Saves the World Podcast, Kennedy. Charles, maybe it's me, but I wouldn't let that doctor put a finger up my ass.
Why, you might get pregnant?
Yes! My prostate would grow, and I would think I was pregnant. But I mean, it's fun. They separate. They think that they, like, where does your common sense go?
It was like an Abbott and Costello thing, right?
Yeah.
Can men get pregnant? First base. Can they have periods? Home place. It was like it was an Abbott and Costello thing.
Yeah.
But I really believe they were just game. I think everybody was in on something else because this could not have been. This maybe was an LSD hearing.
Yes.
Maybe it was a different hearing. But I did come away because she was so steadfast. I did start asking myself, well, maybe there is a trick to men getting pregnant. So I'm a little worried that I might accidentally trigger it one day, like, whoa, that was great. And then 3 months later, what? So,
yeah.
I mean, no, she was.
It is true.
How could she stay so serious?
It's so, she could create so much misinformation in people's heads if they took her seriously. Like, sometimes I do feel pregnant after, like, having a big steak. What if I turn on the TV? Maybe I am pregnant. Do I go get one of those little tests at Walgreens?
And where do you put it?
Pee on it? No, you pee on it.
Oh, okay.
So, Michael, Do you ever notice the difference between how the left and right use language? Like, we are very direct about the things they say, and they are intended to be indirect, never to get to the honest point.
It's a skill set that there should be like a college or a place that we can go. Well, maybe it's college. Where you learn how to do this, because she put on a clinic. It really was. I was hesitant to answer your question. I didn't want to go. I didn't know where that was going. I'd like to use that in my life.
Yes.
You know, where were you all night? I'm hesitant to answer that question. Mr. Loftus, you're accused of murder. I don't know where this is going.
Or it's like, yeah, we have tape of you killing the person. It's like, this is probably worth of having a longer conversation.
Right?
About.
You just got to put that vocal fry question mark at the end.
Yes.
And then you can be Dr. Verma's assistant.
Yes. You can let's have a conversation about this. It's like they never want to actually talk about it. They always try to push it to the future conversation. We should have a conversation. That's why nothing gets done except the very worst things in liberal cities. My favorite chef, Andrew.
We are cooking right now, I'll tell you that much. Whew, I'm gonna pan-sear this puppy. So here's the thing, it is language, right? Language is the ingredient here that we're searing left and right, but they've used language as a weapon, and that's what this comes down to. She couldn't give you a yes or no answer because they know that then ultimately that defines the language that they're trying to rip out of the roots of society and redefine. So this is all about unmooring us from society so that we no longer have traditions and values and rituals, but they're using language as the weapon in order to do so. Imagine going to her and asking her, do I have cancer? Well, I can't objectively give you a yes or no answer. Like, I need to know if I have cancer, yes or no. Well, you know, it's interpretive, and then a whole bunch of like high school drama dancers come in and tell you have cancer through an interpretive dance.
You know, she would actually tell you, oh, I just wanted to let you know that you have an overgrowth of cells.
Yes.
Was it cancer? We call it an overgrowth of cells.
Yes, yes. And it's distorted, and it's making you live shorter.
Yes, yes. Is it fatal? Well, are you dead now?
Now I am.
Well, it's not fatal yet, but let's have a conversation later.
If you're around.
Wouldn't it be great if men could get pregnant, Kennedy? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great one to offload, especially the labor part.
Is it really? I mean, are women scamming men by pretending it's hard?
Oh, boy. Now the show has started.
Oh, it's so tough. Oh,
No,
my God.
but-
What if it doesn't hurt at all?
Like-
What if this is all an act? What if it actually feels great, like taking a huge dump? After 9 months, the world's most beautiful dump.
I almost thought that was going to be her line of reasoning.
Yes.
I thought she was gonna, well, actually, I have administered an epidural to a man who had a giant morning constitution, and I moved his scrotum out of the way so he could birth a giant turd baby that he identified as a human baby, so it has as much worth as anything any woman, so-called, has out in my delivery room.
This might be the first time in history that anybody has applauded something as disgusting.
Yay!
I mean, maybe when G.G. Allen was alive and used to crap on stage, but I think, you broke new ground there. Exactly. Well, in a world way, I now feel like a parent.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.